Just when Nintendo thought they had the title in the bag for Best Open World Game of 2017 with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Sony came to bat with a more than worthy opponent to Link's newest adventure, a fresh new IP called Horizon Zero Dawn. This epic new quest follows the brave bow and arrow-toting princess Merda, Aloy, as she explores a ginormous, living, breathing, beautiful post-apocalyptic world, swarming with mechanical dinosaurs to hunt. If for some reason that's not enough to convince you that this game will be PlayStation's next Uncharted, we've got plenty of other tidbits in store that definitely will. Hi, I'm Darian with the Leaderboard, and today we're counting down 107 facts about Horizon Zero Dawn. Grab your bow, prime your arrow, and let's get hunting. Number 1. Horizon Zero Dawn is an open-world action RPG that takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, overtaken by both nature and monstrous mechanized creatures of unknown origin. The player assumes the role of a hunter-gatherer named Aloy, who sets out to discover her own destiny on a quest that will determine the fate of the human race and the world they inhabit. Number 2. Horizon Zero Dawn was developed by Sony's very own Guerrilla Games, who had just spent the last decade developing the acclaimed PlayStation franchise Killzone. Number 3. The concept for Horizon Dawn was first pitched to the higher-ups at Guerrilla Games by the game's art director Jan Bert Van Beek back in 2010. It was one of 40 concepts being considered by the studio and was ultimately chosen because it was the most risky. Number 4. Van Beek's original pitch included a PowerPoint presentation that told the story shown in the E3 2015 trailer through clips of movies he had compiled that conveyed his vision the best. Number 5. Van Beek claims that the decision to use mechanical creatures as a key point of the pitch was subconsciously inspired by his childhood passion for the science fiction series Zoids. Number 6. The original prototype that would eventually evolve into Horizon was simply a polygon figure in a huge white sandbox facing off against a Tyrannosaurus Rex. You know, they had me at T-Rex. Number 7. The game's core concept is a contrast between the beauty and danger of the world. The developers also asked themselves, what would it be like if humanity was no longer the dominant species of the planet? Number 8. The initial concept for what Guerrilla refers to as the 3 pillars of Horizon, the first pillar being the female protagonist Aloy, the other 2 being a massive beautiful world set in the post-apocalypse, and giant mechanical monsters that now inhabit that world. The biggest challenge for Guerrilla was to not only devise a fully fledged story out of these 3 pillars, but to find out what kind of gameplay genre would do the concept justice. Number 9. The game takes place about 1,000 years into the future after a global catastrophe sends the human race back to the Stone Age. So much time has passed that nobody seems to remember how or why the world came to be the way it is, or why scary mechanized dinosaur monsters are roaming the planet. Where did they come from? Why are they here? What was their purpose? Hopefully all of these answers will come as you play the game. Number 10. Unlike many other open world action RPGs in the market, Skyrim, Guerrilla Games did not want any elements of fantasy like magic or the supernatural to appear in the game. They instead sought to keep the game strictly as science fiction, but believable science fiction, something that could potentially happen to our planet and humanity somewhere down the line. Who else can't wait for Google or Apple to put a rampant AI into a T-Rex shaped robot? Yeah, that'll be the day. Number 11. Development on the game began as early as 2011 and started with a team of about 10 to 20 developers. More would join the team as their own projects were completed, with the team getting a huge increase in 2013 after Killzone Shadowfall was completed. Number 12. 20 different stories were written for the game during the early stages of its development. They mainly explored different time periods and alternate robot types for varying motivations. These stories also experimented with different protagonists, with a female hero named Aloy eventually winning out. Number 13. The final story seen in the game was written by John Gonzalez. Before working on Horizon Zero Dawn, Gonzalez had previously written for games like Tom Clancy's End War, Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, and Fallout New Vegas. Number 14. In designing Horizon, the Guerrilla team wanted to stray as far away from Killzone as they possibly could to see their full potential as a studio. They began by simply designing the game to be the exact opposite of Killzone in its visuals and gameplay. For example, the color palette in Killzone was in the spectrum of browns and grays, while Horizon strove to feature a wider variety of brighter, more visually appealing colors. In designing characters, they went from the generic beefy-bodied male war hero who had seen some shit to a more realistic proportioned young woman human hero who is in the process of developing and defining herself. Number 15. Guerrilla Games head honcho Herman Hulst described the game as a BBC nature documentary set 1,000 years in the future. So basically a sequel to Walking with Dinosaurs, but 65 million years in the making. Number 16. In case it wasn't obvious enough, Guerrilla based all of the machine's designs off of animals from different points of our planet's history, all the way back from the Jurassic period to present day. More interestingly, they designed each creature with a role to play in the world's massive ecosystem. They also added clever twists to classic creatures, like giving Tyrannosaurus Rex a rocket launcher because the deadliest predator in Earth's history totally needed that. Number 17. The game's protagonist Aloy was inspired by several female warriors from across pop culture, like Ellen Ripley from Alien, Sarah Connor from Terminator, and Ygritte from Game of Thrones. Number 18. According to the game's director Matthias Dejean, Aloy isn't the kind of woman who is concerned about her beauty or what she wears. She's a soldier and a survivalist, a rebel who goes against the traditions and regulations of her tribe. As a result, her tribe gives her a rather hard time, believing that she is intervening with what is considered to be God's business. Number 19. Aloy comes from the Nora tribe, a matriarchal society that prays to an all-knowing goddess. The Nora tribe believes the act of being a parent, bringing life into the world and nurturing it, is the holiest of acts a person can perform. Since she is an orphan who never knew her parents, this makes the tribe's culture especially painful for Aloy. The mystery behind the identity of Aloy's absent mother and how she disappeared will play a huge role in the game's overall narrative. Number 20. The Nora tribe is based in mountains and forests. They are not well versed in agriculture and have instead adopted the lifestyle of hunter-gatherers. They are known for creating hunting weapons called the rope caster, which ties down their prey with ease. 21. The Nora worship a goddess they refer to as the All-Mother. Believed to be represented by a sacred mountain, the All-Mother represents the creation of life itself. The Nora tribe's prayers are all dedicated towards this sacred mountain, believing it to be the origin point of all life. Number 22. While the other tribes in the game take a more delicate and cautious approach to the mechanical monstrosities that roam the land, the Nora are quite different in that they are machine hunters that attack these creatures head on for the sake of gathering their resources. Number 23. To get a sense of how a matriarchal tribe might function, the developers did a ton of homework. Not only did they study various societies that have existed in history, they also dove into anthropology textbooks. They felt especially inspired by Jared Diamond's book Guns, Germs, and Steel: The Fate of Human Societies. Number 24. In developing the various tribes, the developers based their societies off of the ideology that one geography determines their destiny. In layman's terms, this simply means that the material conditions in which a group lives in will determine the type of technologies they are bound to develop. Number 25. The goal of designing Aloy was to visualize her base character traits, not just with her body, but with her armor and weapons as well. The three buzzwords the developers built her look around were wild, rebellious, and fierce. The team went through stacks of drawings before deciding on the design used in the final game. Number 26. The designers took the high road and decided to design Aloy with realistic body proportions as opposed to the exaggerated body features seen in several other female characters across games. Guerrilla Games did this because they wanted to make her feel relatable and real to the player. As one designer put it, why make her look like a supermodel when almost nobody actually has the physique of a supermodel? Number 27. Aloy's name may have been inspired by the Aloy, a fictional post-apocalyptic human race found in the H.G. Wells novel The Time Machine, a story that the Guerrilla Games actually considered adapting into a video game before deciding on the Horizon concept. Number 28. Aloy's name also resembles the word alloy, as in the metal. This especially fits when you take into account that alloy is a metal created by combining two or more metallic elements, which is similar to Aloy's ability to craft items from the metallic flesh of the machines. Number 29. Aloy's personality has been described by the developers as being inquisitive, as she is determined to discover the undiscovered, which is a reflection of how players should feel when they are playing an open world game like Horizon. The developers intended for Aloy's nature to rub off into the player after they have spent enough time with her, inspiring them to not stop playing until they've explored every square inch of the massive world she inhabits. Number 30. While the team at Guerrilla Games was always adamant about making the protagonist a female from the start, PlayStation Worldwide President Shiha Yoshida was concerned with this concept, deeming it a huge risk to have such an ambitious project led by a female character. This resulted in Sony and Guerrilla calling in a marketing team to conduct focus testing to see if this would be a successful endeavor. As it turned out, people could care less about what gender their protagonist is. Did you hear that, Hollywood? Did you hear it? You all need to get on board. Number 31. For an unknown reason, Aloy is seen as an untouchable outcast by her tribe. Nobody is allowed to speak with her, so the only interactions she receives from her tribe are ones of hostility and ridicule. Worse yet, Aloy does not know why it is that she has been branded as such. All she does know is that this has been her status as far back as she can remember. Number 32. Though Aloy has been treated as an untouchable subhuman by her tribe, she does not let her pain drive her to hurt others. She has instead harnessed her pain and converted it into a strong compassion for people, knowing firsthand what it's like to be hurt and ignored and not wanting anybody else to experience the same pain. Number 33. Her untouchable status aside, the Nora tribe also frowns upon Aloy's love and understanding of the technology left behind by the old society, which is considered taboo. Whether she's crafting from old parts or riding one of the mechanized beasts, she sure isn't helping her reputation with the tribe. Number 34. Aloy is among the first humans in this apocalyptic age to figure out how to tap into this old technology and even hack it, granting her the ability to turn some of the machines from foe into friends. Number 35. While the humans of this world are not advanced enough to build any technology remotely close to the machines, they still know how to utilize the technology that they are made of. Gonzalez likens this to how most of us know how to use a computer, but a majority of us don't necessarily know how to build one from scratch. Number 36. In her parents' absence and by order of her tribe, Aloy was raised by a man named Ross, who is also branded an outcast by the Nora tribe. Ross teaches Aloy everything he knows, but the only thing he cannot tell her is why she has been shunned by her clan. Number 37. As a child, Aloy discovers a wearable piece of technology that provides her with a variety of advantages. By doing this, she can learn more about how her prey behaves and attacks so she can hunt them more effectively. It can even inform Aloy of any and all weak spots they may have. Number 38. According to Van Beek, Aloy has been isolated in one place for most of her life and knows very little of the outside world at the start of the game. So when Aloy is traversing the world, it won't just be your first time having these experiences, but hers as well. This was a deliberate design choice made to more closely connect Aloy to the player. Number 39. Not everybody in the tribe follows the golden rule of don't acknowledge Aloy's existence. Karst the merchant is happy to sell and trade with Aloy, despite the fact that this is a highly illegal action that could ruin his reputation in a heartbeat. But who needs rules when there's money to be made? Number 40. Aloy has an opportunity to overcome her spot on the Nora's blacklist if she succeeds in an event known as the Proving, a challenge that serves as a rite of passage. She will also earn the right to know what became of her parents, making this occasion the most important one of Aloy's entire life. Dun dun dun. Number 41. While the apocalyptic event that sent humanity back into the Stone Age is currently unknown, it is known that it occurred sometime during the 2060s, meaning we've got about 43 years until we're overrun by mechanical dinosaurs. Number 42. Since Guerrilla Games had no prior experience in creating an open world filled with layers of different quests, the studio had to hire a lot of new help that was immersed in the open world action RPG genre. They enlisted the help of designers who had previously worked for developers like Bethesda, known for creating games in the Fallout and Elder Scrolls series. Number 43. The designers strove to make the gameplay seamless and fast-paced to better match the quick and agile movements of Aloy herself. They accomplished this by simplifying RPG elements that would traditionally slow the game down, like crafting. Whereas most games with crafting mechanics will take you into a pause-like menu where you slowly build objects, Guerrilla Games made it possible to craft objects while Aloy is literally on the run without going into an elaborate menu to maintain the game's immersion. Number 44. To add to the vibe that the world of Horizon is a living, breathing world, the game will feature spontaneously triggered side quests. For example, you may be roaming the wilderness and hear a random call for help from an injured old man in the distance, which you can either choose to take on or be a heartless jerk and ignore. Number 45. Similar to Borgia-controlled territories in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Horizon features territories called corruption zones. And if that foreboding name doesn't quite spell it out for you, they're areas full of deadly machines with a thirst for human blood. If you're experienced enough or flat out crazy, you can attempt to clear these areas out to ease exploration and gain more rewards, like experience. Just be warned, these zones tend to house some of the game's biggest threats. Number 46. In the city of Meridian, you will find a hunter's lodge for only the most elite hunters out there. To gain entry, you must seek out lodge representatives in the world that will present you with hunter challenges. Upon completing them, you will earn the medals that will allow you to finally enter. Once inside, you can work your way up the lodge's hierarchy ladder until you become the best of the best. Number 47. Hunter challenges are not only missions to be completed for the sake of achieving a 100% on your file, they also demonstrate new and clever ways to take take down the machines. For example, one mission may teach you how to use the rope caster to bring down flying enemies within seconds. Think of them as a boot camp, but without the blood, sweat, and tears. Thumb blisters are a possibility though. Number 48. Guerrilla Games never designed the game with a specific genre in mind, just a specific kind of experience they sought to capture. They never intended to create something like a pure RPG or a true third-person action game. They just implemented and blended key mechanics from various genres to create something unique, something they themselves refer to as an action RPG. Number 49. Horizon became such a priority for Guerrilla Games, the studio actually canceled another game they had in development so they could move those resources over to Horizon. That's dedication. Number 50. The development team designed the game around exploring the world around you. They pushed this idea by implementing a quest system that will always send players to different corners of the massive map. Exploration is also key in ensuring the player's survival, as they must scour the environment for resources used for either replenishing health or crafting items. Number 51. Horizon Zero Dawn was created using the Decima game engine, an engine that was developed by Guerrilla Games themselves and originally used for 2013's Killzone Shadowfall. The engine was also used for the PlayStation 4 exclusive Until Dawn and will also be used for Hideo Kojima's upcoming masterpiece, Death Stranding. Number 52. The development team had a difficult time building the game around the Decima engine, which was originally intended to work with first-person shooters like Killzone Shadowfall. Some of the issues the team had was the game's initial lack of a draw distance and obvious loading zones, two things that needed to be non-existent for an open-world title. This required the engine to be constantly retooled and tweaked as development commenced, rebuilding it around the needs of Horizon. Number 53. Horizon Zero Dawn features a living, breathing world open with a dynamic day and night cycle as well as a changing weather system. You will always be able to traverse the world without hitting any pesky loading zones to hinder your gameplay experience. Number 54. The weather system isn't just an aesthetic feature meant to inspire awe, it also alters the gameplay in significant ways. For example, if you get caught battling in a rainstorm, your line of sight will be reduced and you won't want to rely on weapons that utilize fire, as they'll be doused instantly. Number 55. The game will not feature any tutorials or hand-holding of any kind, and instead harkens back to the nature of older adventure games like The Legend of Zelda, which had the player discover the world for themselves at their own pace. You'll also have to figure out how to defeat the game's various enemies through trial and error, or you could be a boring cheat and watch somebody else walk through it on YouTube. Number 56. Being an action RPG, the game will feature 3 skill trees stocked with several more branches to keep you glued to the game for nights on end. Prowler is for players who favor being stealthy, Brave increases the damage a player deals to enemies, and Forager increases and speeds up collecting resources and healing. Number 57. Horizon allows you to embrace your inner photographer with its cleverly titled photo mode, which can be conveniently found through the pause menu. With photo mode, the player will be able to move the camera away from Aloy to take some pretty stunning photos. But wait, there's more. This mode gives players additional tools that will allow them to make alterations to the picture's depth of field, coloration, time of day, and more, making photos so crisp you'd swear they were stills from a Hollywood film. Number 58. Earlier prototypes of the game had it running in the same untouched engine that was used for Killzone 3, giving Aloy the ability to combat the machines with assault rifles, Gatling guns, and rocket launchers. The developers decided that giving Aloy such sophisticated weapons didn't quite fit their vision, as these firearms made gameplay very straightforward and repetitive in nature like every other shooter on the market. Number 59. To add to the theme that humans are no longer the dominant species on Earth, the developers have made Aloy so vulnerable that even the smallest and most seemingly insignificant of machines, like the lowly Watchers, can end Aloy's life with the snap of a finger. This prompts players to approach scenarios more carefully and strategically. Number 60. While open world games typically have main quests devoted to progressing the story and side quests to further develop the world and the player's character, Horizon will have 3 quest types that impact the narrative in different ways. The first mission type is the traditional main quest, the ramifications of which impact the world as a whole. There are also tribal missions, which are completed in order to improve Aloy's standing with other tribes, and missions devoted to developing or expanding upon Aloy's relationship with other characters. Number 61. According to producer Mark Norris, about 90% of the game's encounters are not scripted, meaning that ginormous machines like the Thunderjaw are not limited to something of a boss battle. You could very well encounter one in the world within your first minutes of playing, but challenging it to a fight that early on could be considered an idiotic move. You've got to build yourself up, study your enemies before going in arrows blazing. Number 62. Despite being quite a far cry from the Killzone series, Guerrilla did implement a couple of key lessons they learned in their many years working on the FPS franchise into their open world endeavor. The first was the ability to tell a science fiction story grounded in a believable reality, and the second was the intensity of combat and the ability to approach a battle in a variety of ways. Number 63. Players will follow the story of Aloy from the beginning of her childhood, which will mainly serve as a series of tutorial-style levels that simultaneously help the player learn more about the protagonist. Number 64. Aloy is played by American actress Ashley Burch. Burch has previously done plenty of voice work for video games like Fallout 4, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Borderlands 2. She's also dabbed in the realm of animation, appearing in Frederator's very own Bee and Puppycat and Adventure Time. Number 65. Aloy's likeness is based on the Dutch actress Hannah Hoekstra. See the resemblance? Number 66. At first glance, Aloy appears to be a default character with a set story and personality beyond the player's control, but she's actually more like Commander Shepard from Mass Effect. The player, not the staff writers, will be in charge of developing Aloy's personality and choices with a handy-dandy dialogue wheel. There will also be key moments in the game in which Aloy can take one of 3 different courses of action that will not only shape the direction of the story, but the relationships Aloy has with other characters. Number 67. In the E3 demo, Aloy apologizes to a machine after she silently killed it. The developers stated that this interaction is due to a special relationship Aloy has with the machines that no other human does. Number 68. Despite appearing and behaving similar to biological creatures, the mechanical beasts are 100% machine, with no organs or muscles beneath the hood whatsoever, though they are made with a synthetic fiber that does function like muscle tissue. Number 69. The development team was so detail-oriented with the game's visual design that they actually researched how certain metals and other materials would decay over a course of a millennia and what they would look like at that time. Number 70. The developers designed the mechanical creatures in such a way that the player could learn a lot about them through their movements and behaviors. After studying them enough, the player will be able to tell when to keep their distance or when the creature will be most vulnerable to an attack. It's like real hunting, only you have a clear conscience. Number 71. The designers built the machines in such a manner that if you had the resources, you could actually put these creatures together in real life, so they all move and function in ways similar to real life machines and mechanisms. Number 72. The creatures in the game are incredibly expressive in how they sound and move, with each mechanized monster possessing at least 150 unique animations and anywhere from 200 to 300 different sounds that they make. They went all out in this respect to make every encounter with a different creature both unique and distinguishable. Number 73. Due to the insane amount of animations required to make the creatures lively and unique, a team of 6 guerrilla employees were assigned to exclusively work on the creatures' animations throughout their involvement during their development cycle. Number 74. The main challenge in developing the sounds of the creatures was finding a balance between making them sound animalistic and mechanical. According to the sound designer Anton Wittick, if they were too animalistic, it would shatter the illusion that they were machines. If they went too far in the opposite direction, they just come across as bland robots instead of the closest thing to a living beast. They solved this by listening to animal calls, and instead of using pitch modifiers and filters on pre-existing recordings, created sounds from scratch that closely resembled the howls, growls, and roars of real-life animals, finding a perfect mix of something artificial and organic. Number 75. The sound engineers wanted each mechanized animal to have a distinct call so that the player could identify a creature well in advance, giving them either the opportunity to prepare for a fight or run like hell. Number 76. The Watcher was among the first of the machines created for the game. The use of its abilities had a great influence on Aloy's abilities, ushering in much more strategic and stealth-oriented approaches toward conflicts as opposed to the point-and-shoot nature of games like Killzone. Number 77. Watchers are some of the most common machines you'll encounter in the game. They're about the size of humans, but as Yoda has taught us, don't let their size fool you. If you are spotted by one of these creatures or antagonize them, they will sound a literal alarm that will draw a dozen more watchers to your location. Let's just say there's a lot of power in numbers in this game. Number 78. To put it simply, the Thunderjaw is a screaming metal death trap literally armed to the teeth. Not only can it do whatever a T-Rex can, the Thunderjaw is equipped with a disc launcher, machine guns, and even an overpowered mouth laser added for good measure. Unfortunately, standing still won't prevent it from seeing you. Number 79. In the early stages of development, the designers took a set of Lego Duplo blocks and created a model of the Thunderjaw to use as a visual reference. Number 80. The Thunderjaw saw in the E3 demo is massive, measuring at 24 meters long and 10 meters high, and according to the developers, that's not even the biggest creature you'll encounter in the game. I'm sure Shadow of the Colossus is sweating bullets. Number 81. Though the Thunderjaw is an overpowered death machine, the fights against the creature aren't completely unfair. Aloy can knock off up to 5 different pieces of the creature that she can use against it to more easily finish it off, like the devastating disc launcher. Number 82. The weapons that can be knocked off of creatures and used by Aloy cannot be put into your inventory as a permanent weapon, nor can they be used to craft one that can be stowed. The designers wanted these pickups to be a tiny moment of empowerment that were simultaneously hindered by how heavy they are for Aloy to pick up, limiting her movement so as not to make things too easy. They did this to keep the vibe that humans are below the machines on the food chain. Giving Aloy permanent weapons with that much power makes the creatures less intimidating and challenging to fight. Number 83. What's worse than a gargantuan machine with Tyrannosaurus-sized fangs? Why, a gargantuan machine with wings, of course. The Stormbird can just as easily kill you in the air as it can on the land. It attacks ranging from claw slashes to wing blasts. Its colossal wings are capable of collecting and discharging electricity in the air. Number 84. Though the behemoth's primary function is to transport cargo, that doesn't mean it can't easily kick your ass. If you feel the need to piss one off, the behemoth can end your life by hurling heavy objects using its anti-gravity unit. It's even got a few grinding drills that allow it to cut through rock and propel them. Number 85. In case its resemblance to a huge ass alligator doesn't give it away, spawn moths are typically found near or in large bodies of water, gathering valuable minerals from the sediment. It can make players wet their pants in an instant, being able to lunge attacks with unusually great speed and ferocity. But don't think that distance will save you from this nightmare. It has the capacity to fire long-range ice mortars that can freeze its prey in an instant. Where's the Irwin family when you need them? Number 86. Shell walkers are transportation class machines that clutch onto a large crate of precious cargo and literally protect it with their lives. While the player is more likely to destroy the cargo in the ensuing fight, it is possible for it to come out of the fight unscathed. And if you happen to secure the cargo, you will be rewarded with randomized loot. Number 87. You might not want to kill every machine you encounter, since some of them are quite useful to you alive. For example, you'll be able to mount yourself atop the bull-like broadhead as if it were a horse and use it for its speed to hunt down faster machines like the grazers. Number 88. Not all the machines are out to murder you. Like the Brachiosaurus-like creature cleverly referred to as the tall neck, tall necks work similarly to the viewpoint towers in Assassin's Creed. If you climb them and reach the top, which is a pretty awesome thing to do, you can tap into the comms and get new data added to your world map. Number 89. Guerrilla deeply studied the creatures that they based their designs on. For example, the designers closely examined the moments and behaviors of hermit crabs when designing the Shellwalker. One of the hermit crab traits that was incorporated into the Shellwalkers was their tendency to travel together in groups, as real-life hermit crabs tend to favor the buddy system. They also use the way they cover themselves and use their claws for defense. Number 90. When you're not fighting to the death against a mechanical titan, you'll find that the world is rich with organic animals that you may recognize from our own world, like geese, rabbits, and boars, which you can hunt for food or crafting. Luckily for you, the boars haven't evolved to defend themselves with miniguns. Number 91. The game's musical score was mainly helmed by composer Horace Deman, who had previously worked with Guerrilla Games on the Killzone trilogy. The games also feature contributions from composer Neil Van Dries. Number 92. Unlike just about every other game released in the last 10 years, Horizon Zero Dawn does not feature a multiplayer mode of any kind. The developers explained that this decision was made because the game has a narrative that squarely focuses on the personal journey of a single character. If they were to add a co-op component with a bland, nameless character shoehorned in, they believe a part of the narrative would have been compromised by moving the spotlight away from Aloy and her struggle. Number 93. In September 2014, the game's existence was leaked onto the internet via a Chinese forum post which featured concept art of robotic dinosaurs and a red-headed female protagonist from a project codenamed Horizon. Number 94. The game was officially announced almost a year later in June of 2015 at E3 with a stage demo and a new name, Horizon Zero Dawn. This presentation won Guerrilla Games the award for Best Original Game at the 2015 Game Critics Award, an award show traditionally held after every E3 since 1998. Number 95. Though many thought the E3 2015 trailer was made using CGI, the game's technical director Michael V.D. Lua revealed that the entire trailer was shot in engine. Hopefully, Guerrilla Games doesn't pull off a Watch Dogs for the final build. Number 96. Aloy became a PlayStation All-Star long before Horizon Zero Dawn was even released. Since her reveal at E3 2015, Aloy had gone on to be an incredibly popular choice as a cosplay at various conventions. Number 97. The game was originally set to be released in 2016, but was delayed to give the game some much needed time for additional polishing. It was finally released on February 28, 2017 in North America, exclusively for PlayStation 4. Number 98. Horizon Zero Dawn was released within less than a week of another open world masterpiece that has often been compared to time time and time again The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, with a release date of March 3rd, 2017, just a mere 3 days later. Number 99. Legendary game designer Hideo Kojima showed some love for Horizon on his Twitter account, where he posted a picture of a tall neck that he crafted out of Lego pieces. Hopefully this inspires Sony and the Lego Group to work out some kind of deal in the near future. Number 100. Guerrilla Games is very confident that their latest title could become an instant franchise. They're open to the idea of expanding the Horizon brand to mediums like comic books and films, but hopefully not to the Super Mario Bros. Kind. Number 101. Guerrilla Games pulled a Pixar when they released Killzone Shadow Fall and included an Easter egg hinting at their next project, which was, of course, Horizon Zero Dawn. At the beginning of Shadow Fall, you can find a holographic projection of one of the machines found in Horizon, though the game's director says the machines featured went through quite a few changes during the development. Number 102. The developers claim that while message boards across the internet were rampant with theories and predictions regarding the Horizon story, none of the ones they have seen in their massive search have come remotely close to what actually happens in the game. This game truly is something else. Number 103. Horizon Zero Dawn is forward compatible on the PlayStation 4 Pro, which will allow the game to run at a glorious 2160p. It's not quite 4K, but it's close enough. Number 104. According to director Mathias de Jong, having the studio work on the game for 6 years was seen by the developers as a maturation and transformation of Guerrilla Games as a whole. It helped them see their potential beyond the realm of linear first-person shooters like Killzone. After working on Horizon, Guerrilla doesn't see themselves going back to games like Killzone in the future, instead wanting to push the envelope even further with their next game, whether it's Horizon 2 or a new IP. Number 105. After 6 long years of development, Horizon Zero Dawn went gold during the final days of January 2017, meaning that it was finished and ready to be shipped out about a full month before its intended release date. Number 106. Horizon gained so much popularity before release that Sony saw it fit to release a $100 collector's edition for the game, and it is truly an awesome package. Not only does it come with digital content that can be used in the game, it comes with a treasure trove of physical goodies like a 48-page book called The Art of Horizon, and a 9-inch statue of Aloy striking a pretty badass pose, which is bound to spice up that dull old office cubicle of yours. Number 107. If you don't have room for a 9-inch Aloy statue, but still want something extra with your purchase of the game, the Digital Deluxe Edition comes with a plethora of digital content, including 2 exclusive outfits and 2 exclusive weapons. It also comes with a digital version of the 48-page art book found in the physical collector's edition, and an exclusive theme to pimp up your PlayStation 4 dashboard. Yes, pimp my console. Once again, I'm Darian, and thanks for watching 107 Facts about Horizon Zero Dawn. Have you played it yet? What's your favorite part? Comment below and let us know. We have new videos dropping every week, so let us know what you want us to cover next. And if you like getting more for your games, subscribe to Leaderboard, where we help you game smarter.